had an iPhone and one other Android phone. So he brought them and they said, Oga, open your phone.
So the person that came to bail
the person that came to bail his
was
friend
now a suspect.
Was now a suspect, right? There was nothing he did. You didn't even know who he was, right? You asked these guys, how many of you are in your flat? They said, oh, we are 3. Where is the third person? Do you understand? So when this guy came, when he was asked to unlock his phone, he became extremely terrified, jittery. Of course, he hadn't been in that kind of situation before. Every young man would always have heard stories of how EFCC, how brutal they could be, how menacing they could be, and how when you enter into their trap, it becomes they become a conduit pipe to drain you of your hard-earned money if you have any. So this guy became terrified when he was reluctant to open it, to unlock his phones. He was threatened, and he submitted and unlocked his phone. So on going through his phone, they found materials that they consider in their opinion incriminating. So from there,
what kind of materials?
Were emails, Instagram accounts.
Okay, so he's a fraudster.
Oh well. I wouldn't say he's a fraudster because the courts have not pronounced him a fraudster.
Whatever the case may be, there were evidence.
There were materials that EFCC suspected or suspect to be materials used
questionable.
Questionable, yes, in their opinion, right? But of course, so before he could say Jack Robinson, before even taking his statement, they first of all took him down to the cell and locked him up in there. No contact whatsoever with his family, no contact with his lawyers. And then at night, around 7 p.m., 7:30, they brought him out again and said, oh yeah, your statement. They were putting it to him and they're asking him to write it down. How much have you profited from? Do you understand? How much have you, not, are you a fraudster? Do you understand? Are you involved in?
They won't normally ask that.
So, how much have you profited? This is not in any way a voluntary statement, right? So, how much have you profited? The guy goes on about, I've not profited in it. You've not, do you understand? So, they threatened him for that and say, you want to spend the rest of your life in jail. I'm trying to help you. Better start telling me, right? Undue influence. Do you understand? See, now, they have not told him about his Miranda rights. They have not told him about his right to a legal practitioner, right? They have not told him that he has the right to remain silent or not even decide not to make a statement at all until he sees maybe a member of his family or a legal practitioner, or even not make a statement at all, right? But, and then he was writing, telling him, all right, you bought a car. Where is your car? My car, my friend took my car, right? Where is the car? Where is your friend? So they were now inquiring into his private life, right? Things that you never knew this guy had a car.
They've already established that he's a criminal.
No. How do you establish
I understand.
that someone is a criminal?
I understand where you're going.
Office of an investigator.
I understand where you're going.
Why then are the courts there?
Let me interject there. You see, their job is what they are doing. However, the way they went about it was wrong.
That is it.
Now, where I have problem.
Yes.
Where I have problem is for them to not have anyone complain, because you're talking about there is a thief. For you to be able to say someone is a thief,
yes,
you have someone that complained that my thing was stolen.
Okay.
Now, in this case, you are complaining, you are talking about someone that has money that he cannot account for, or finance that he cannot explain. And then you see traces of chats and pretentious
And emails
and what have he's on his phone, blah blah blah, and then you go on and then you went further to get his other friends who are in league with him in the same activities to get to the core truth of where and how much they have gotten.
Yes.
There's really nothing wrong with that.
You see,
Where I have problem with is securing a conviction solely on the basis of circumstantial evidence that were gotten illegally. That is my main problem.
That's my problem as well.
How can you not have a complainant and yet you secured a guilty plea
Yes.
based on something, on evidence that you got illegally, and that goes and that is allowed by the law? That is allowed by the Evidence Acts of 14 and 15.
You know, and of course, these guys are also empowered by the cyber crimes.
The Cybercrime Act does not make provision for, if you are going to be going after anyone that is in affair, that has offended in this manner, frauded someone through misrepresentation, online misrepresentation.
Obtaining by false
You don't need someone to complain. You don't need someone to go this thing. Yes, I can understand that point. But if you are going to be getting such person convicted, you should do it legally.
You should do it legally. You should follow the due process.
You should
of the
follow.
law.
There is a due process.
Yes.
And that is section 14 and 15.
Yes.
And that due process is illegal. This is an act. The Evidence Act got its powers from the Constitution.
Yes.
The Constitution gave birth to the Evidence Act. Now, how can you, the Evidence Act, be able to create a provision that is in complete contradiction to the Constitution? The human right is fundamental
And sacrosanct.
You can't come here and say that, it's right to private property is irrelevant because a section in the Evidence Act says so.
Says that you can evidence that you have obtained illegally.
It was obtained illegally. That is why I wanted you to give us more about entrapment, because entrapment is a huge source of income for government enforcement. When they go, they arrest someone. You must have watched a lot of all these American films where you see a pretty lady who is actually a cop who goes to these prostitutes.
I'm sorry, but what is legal for people always mistake sting operations or mix it up with entrapment, right?
Even sting operation can be entrapment.
Yes, it could
because if you have a sting operation whereby the police did not follow due process, you are the policeman.
Yeah.
You are in a sting operation. You have been in this thing trying to get to the man at the top, and the man at the top, in order for you to get there, you want to provide his younglings, as he is under his agents.
Yes.
You now provide them with guns to commit some crimes so that you can get to the person, so that they can gain your trust. That is entrapment on its own. So it goes all the way. You can't. There should be a provision of the law that was clearly states that as an agent of the government, you cannot encourage, you cannot coerce, you cannot give an opportunity for a civilian or an individual to commit a crime.
That is why I'm advocating for a revisit of the Police Act.
And I'm there with you.
A revisit of the Police Act and the Evidence
That
Act.
2020 must have been the best opportunity.
It was a missed, and of course, we're still coming to that. I'm still coming to that, but there are a lot of several missed opportunities, so to say, by the National Assembly to, make the police
on its own. That section 14 and 15 is, as far as I'm concerned, illegal.
Illegal, yes.
Because it should not carry any form of weight in a court of law.
Exactly.
Because it is in contradiction, it's in contrast to the ground norm,
yes,
which is the Constitution. So it should not even exist.
I agree with you.
So when you have created a law that you can't seem to, how do I put this? You create a provision, not a law, it's a part of the law, but a provision that you cannot justify. And then you say, oh, if the probable this thing outweighs the probative values outweighs, there's nothing probative value. Yeah. In other countries, the second they realize, the second they see, the second they hear that the way you call this crime came to existence, this crime would have never happened if it was not encouraged by the government agents. You lured them into it. You pushed them into it. They would have normally. We have enough crime as it is. Why should the police be adding more to the crime that we already have on ground?
I think it's pertinent at this point to state that yes, if someone had been lured, or entrapped into the commission of a crime, it is a defense in law, right? It is a defense if we're marshaled.
But our Nigerian courts don't have, don't understand it. It does not exist in the law, so it should not be a defense.
The court should be a court of justice, a court that is determined to do substantial justice. Because if Mr. A, right, had been lured by law enforcement into the commission of an offense that otherwise he wouldn't have committed, he didn't have any intent whatsoever to commit this crime, then the law, I think equity should come to the aid of the defendant in this case, right? You say, oh, even though you have, in the strict sense of the word, committed this crime, but there is a very fundamental element that is missing, the intention. Because of course, you know that in our criminal laws, you have two elements have to coexist: the actus reus and the mens reus, for a crime to be said to have been committed, right? So if the mens reus, which is very, very fundamental, the mental capacity, the intention to commit this act, this crime, if it is missing, then I don't think there are any court that knows, or any judge that knows his onions would convict any suspect, right, an accused person, based upon a crime that otherwise they were lured into committing, right? So even though it is not in our laws, it is not codified, but I think the courts, in pursuance of doing substantial justice to of course, because you know that in criminal law we're talking about
at the end of the day, the point of justice is to provide security, is to provide appeasement within the people.
Yes, because sorry,
if you look at, let me land here. If you look at the problem that this thing could have solved if it was codified, because the police are acting on the basis of the fact that it's not in the law.
It's not in the law.
That is the reason why they are doing it. They are taking
advantage in the law.
Of the law.
Yeah.
So why can't you just, a straight opportunity? Let us just, most of our laws are copy and paste.
Yes.
Forgive me that I'm saying this, but that is the truth.
Yes.
Why can't they just copy and paste it into the Evidence Act?
Probably because the people who benefit from this,
the government,
yes,
of course, I understand that point. But then again, that's just one of the crucial issues and problems that we have in the legal system, and I feel like it's something that should be visited and be looked
And
into.
that is one fundamental flaw in our lawmaking process, where ordinarily in the lawmaking process there should be public hearing, right, where you feel the pulse of the people when you present a proposed law, and have people make their input, make their suggestions, and make their feelings towards that law known, right? So those public hearings is a very good opportunity for the lawmaking organ of government, that's the National Assembly and other legislative houses, to make laws that truly represent the feeling and the pulse of the people, right? So this Police Act, as was recently passed into law, I believe that if there was, of course I believe there was, but who made representations, and were those representations made during the public hearing taken on board and incorporated into the law?
Procedure.
So our lawmaking process also needs to
accommodate public
legislators
hearing,
need to brace up and live up to their responsibility, because their oath and their loyalty lie
to
the people.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. So another issue that I've noticed when it comes to government agency and law enforcement agents is that, for example, there was a case that's a case of hostage rescue, and in the event of trying to rescue the hostage, a lot of things were damaged where in the house that the activity or the event took place by the police or the whatever. So it's created a memory for me, because I've experienced something of the like where police came to where I was working, and in the event of trying to arrest some people, suspects, they destroyed quite a lot of things. They broke some windows, some things were destroyed.
Yes.
And then when I went to the police station, I told them, like, look, this is the cost of everything. This is what was destroyed. And they were telling me that, that is just how life is. That's how it's supposed to be. If we are not here to protect you, who is going to protect you? I'm just saying this because I know this is a huge problem.
Yes.
Within the people that have this kind of related issues. What do you have to say about this kind of a thing?
Okay, this sounds like what they call collateral damage.
Okay.
Where law enforcement, in a bid to arrest a situation,
yes,
right, cause damage to innocent third parties who otherwise have nothing to do with that operation or that crime, right? So how then do you begin to restore these people to the place where they were before the operations, before their lives were changed, before their lives were lost, or before the lives of their loved ones were lost, before their properties were damaged, before they were rendered homeless?
I like the way you're putting it, because this truly does not only have to do with property, it also has to do with life. No. Because in the event of you trying to secure someone, you might make mistake and shoot or kill someone else.
I'm sure every Nigerian, or probably let me say everybody in Lagos, knows the case of Kolade Johnson.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, the man that was gunned down by stray bullets from the police that allegedly went on a raid for criminals, around his house. This man just returned into the country. He was not based here. And then life cut short, family left to mourn in disarray, right? And this man was caught in his prime. He was in his 20s. So how do you begin to tell these people, oh, because criminals were in your area, We were trying to secure you, but someone is dead. Someone who had absolutely nothing to do with the situation. So how do you begin to restore that? How do you begin to pacify them? How do you begin to compensate them? Do you compensate them with the fact that, oh, it was a successful operation after all? We've gone down those criminals that otherwise would have been terrifying or terrorizing the entire neighborhood.
They will normally tell you to go to the criminal justice system. You can go to FIDA. You can go to legal aid.
Now, yes. When these things happen, right? It is. There are a lot of options for people to explore, and in seeking justice, in seeking restoration, for the losses that they have incurred in the process of law enforcement, carrying out whether an illegal or legitimate duty, right? Because I understand that some of these operations are even illegal operations to start with, So what are the options open to these people? You have a lot of fora actually that people could actually. You have the civil claims. You can institute an action, wrongful death action against the police, which of course you have to engage a lawyer. You have to pay the lawyer, all right? And in most cases, you have to pay very huge sums to lawyers because, of course, that the bigger the lawyer, the more chances of success in the case. So, and of course, the bigger the lawyer, the bigger the fees you pay to that lawyer. But of course, that's not saying that all lawyers are not. Lawyers are equal, actually. What you just need to do is to know the law and know how to apply the law. And that's what makes you a good lawyer. Now, so a lot of these people probably do not have the financial wherewithal to engage legal practitioners to fight these causes for them. So when you say a civil suit for wrongful death, for maybe destruction caused to property, or for a harm done to someone, probably someone losing an arm or a limb, right? It takes a while. We know the justice system in Nigeria could drag for years and years and decades.
It's not even accessible to the poor.
You understand?
So there is no point.
So you have to know your financial standing as a person or as a victim's family before you could approach the court to seek to file a civil suit for wrongful death or grievous bodily harm or something of that nature. So a lot of people, because of the money involved, because of the time, do not get justice, and they would rather leave it to God to judge. All right. I will tell you an instance where victims of an air crash in 1992. I don't know if ADC airline that crashed in 92 in somewhere in Liberia in 92. These guys that matter was filed in 92 still, but judgment was delivered in 2017. Can you beat that? How many years was that?
That's close to 20, almost 20 years.
25 years. 25 years in pursuit of justice. All right? So, and some of these people died on the way, died along the line. And then at the end of the day, the compensation and the damages, right? These are people who lost cash, foreign currency, right? Personal belongings, important business documents, personal effects, travel documents, and all of that. And then the compensation that came at the end of the day was very meager, compared to the loss, the trauma, and everything, and also given the length of time that it took for them to, get judgment. And mind you, that was the High Court judgment coming 25 years after. We've not talked about the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. Do you understand? So the length of time would always likely discourage a lot of people. Now you also have the Public Complaints Commission, you know, which of course
they say it's free. Is it truly free?
Yes, it is free, but of course we know that there is a lot of bureaucracy involved in most of these government agencies. When you go, you lodge a complaint, you know, they will tell you that, okay, we are going to look into it, we are going to investigate it, and at the end of the day, you find yourself back to square one, right? And of course, their decisions, right, are not forceful.